inaccurate information
Yes.
about what's actually going on, deliberately so. And that I consider nefarious. That I consider not concern about how people are going to react, but more a way to preserve their power around this. And I'm getting to the point now where I'm not quite so indignant about it, but well, less indignant about it than I have been. But still, I've come to the conclusion that we are the point of disclosure. You and me, and anybody that's had any experience, whether they're a contactee, an experiencer, if they consider themselves an abductee, the way Whitley does.
Right.
It's I think that it's incumbent upon each one of us to speak our truth. And that's a lot about what my book's about empowering my reader, to share their experiences, even if it's just privately among friends, to raise the vibration of the whole entire planet by allowing what is the light to surface. This is a situation that has gone on long enough. It's been more than 70 years.
Right.
And those of us on this planet who are actively engaged with extraterrestrials uh, are offended for them that this persists the way that it does. It's unnecessary, it's insulting to what I perceive to be, human intelligence. And yes, there are some people that will probably react adversely when it really does hit them. But that's the reason why they don't all show up in the sky at one time, because they don't want to do anything that's going to disrupt our timeline, to disrupt our society. It's disrupted enough. They don't want anybody to suffer or be hurt. They're incredibly altruistic and benevolent beings. I engage only with light beings. I'm not saying that every race that visits this planet is so generous of spirit or kind-hearted, but I don't have anything to do with any dark forces. Nothing dark comes near me. I feel very, very well protected in that regard. So what I do is teach people how to see them and encourage them to make contact. And that's the thing that I do in my life now that brings me more enjoyment than virtually anything else. More enjoyment than chocolate,
Oh
more
dear.
enjoyment than.
I don't know about chocolate. I kid, but I do get it. We're 2 minutes out from a break, and that's fine. 2 minutes is forever in radio.
Yeah,
But when you talk about you're teaching this, right?
yeah,
The there's never going to be a landing on the White House lawn. There's never going to be anything of that nature because that would be detrimental to humans and to ETs alike. And I find it interesting that this is something that has developed in you. It's always been there, but it's really, really developing at this point. It has been for probably the last 10 years?
yeah.
Yeah. And yet they come to you. And I've found, I'm a great hammock sitter, right?
Hmm.
And I watch the sky at night because I'm always looking for meteors. And it's very peaceful. It's when I unwind before I go to bed. And I always see things. And I was talking with a friend of mine who is in a leadership role with MUFON while I was doing that one night. And I said, you know what? This is here. I have my sky guide. I know the constellation. This is just bizarre. What do I do?
Hmm.
And they asked me to submit a report to MUFON. Well, you know what? It let me fill it out. It let me do all the things. It would not let me submit. And I was like, seriously. So I
Yeah.
messaged back and I said, you know what? I tried.
Yep.
That's not going
Yep.
to work.
Yep. There was
So,
a reason for that.
yeah. Yeah, there
Yeah.
was. And, it's, I did that out when I was in Sedona. David and I had gone on a night sky tour
Hmm.
and was poo-pooed by the astrologer who was leading the thing. And, I have I have talked us into this break. So we will be back in 3 minutes. Y'all just enjoy this interlude.
Okay.
You are listening to WPHM Digital Broadcasting. The best in paranormal talk radio.
I'm back.
I am too. We have got people who are showing up in chat for you, and we've got Karen Craig, who is here, and we have, I don't know how to say this, SOHN Conduit. We have Wendy Schindler, and we have Jacob. And Jacob has a question relevant to your family's experience. Okay. And are you ready for that now, or would you prefer to wait a little bit?
No, that's fine.
Okay. And he wanted to know, when the entity approached your mother both times and your mom tried to wake your father up, and he said, if the spirit uses energy to manifest, then do you think that your dad didn't wake up because the entity was using all the energy he needed to be able to?
I think that that's certainly plausible. I also know that there are certain energies that can kind of knock us out, almost put us in a state of suspended animation, or what some people experience as sleep paralysis. Now, there is, a medical condition called sleep paralysis, but that can also be mimicked in the spirit world. And I know that for a fact because I suffered it once myself at the farmhouse, where I was wide awake. I knew exactly what was happening. My mother was under attack downstairs, and I could not move to go assist her. And I felt very much oppressed. I felt very much like whatever it was that had control over me was exerting a power that I could not counter it. And so my mom went through. It was a way that everybody was held at bay. My father laying right beside her. She did everything she could to wake him up. Like abusively so, just pulling his hair and pounding on his back, and she thought he was dead. She really did. So that was more than a case of sleep paralysis. That was either she was in a different dimension with the spirit when it was happening, or I don't know. And I wish that I did have that answer, because scientifically, I think it would be fascinating to have that answer, to know definitively. But I don't know. But I certainly think that hypothesis is a plausible one.
Well, I think it is too. And thank you. I appreciate that, Jacob. So, when we were talking about disclosure, if you don't mind moving back to that, because I know that really is your passion right now. But
oh, that's my passion all the time,
right?
Since I was 13 years old, and I'm almost 60.
Oh, don't even go there. I'm about to get that close too.
Yeah.
And I don't mind, because you know what? It beats not doing it.
That's right.
I love birthdays.
The other option is to not be here anymore. I'll take this. Thanks.
Yes. Thank you very much. Well, one thing I want to hear about is your healing.
Well, it was a, excuse me, it was a very compelling thing that happened to me. I've had some extraordinary things happen to me in the past, healings. I even have scars on my body from it. But this was particularly, it was particularly shocking to me, because I was conscious, and I was laying diagonally across my bed, which is pretty much how I lay, with pillows propped all around me. It was about 2 o'clock, maybe 3 o'clock in the morning, on the morning of the first hours of May 24th. And because I lost my baby sister April last year, at first I thought what I felt on the bed was her, because she has come and made her presence known to everybody in our family. And so I thought what I was feeling was, possibly April just sitting down on the bottom of the bed. And I hoped that it was her. But I was laying there transfixed, listening to an interview that I had missed earlier in the night. And so I was catching the rerun, and I know I appeared to be asleep. I had my right arm thrown over a body pillow. I had a body pillow behind my back, a pillow under my head, my arm under that pillow, and with my legs laying diagonally and my feet hanging off the bottom of the bed. And the whole bottom corner of the bed where my feet were, suddenly, not suddenly really, I felt that there was a change in the bed. Right. That was sudden, but it slowly compressed the mattress downward to the point where I felt my feet kind of slip down. And I didn't move. I didn't make any indication that I was conscious. I just felt it. I just sensed it and hoped that it was April. And I figured in a moment or so I would know if it was her. And then in that next moment, suddenly my feet became so hot that had I been in the third dimension, I would have been screaming and writhing in pain. The pressure and the heat that was being laid upon my feet was so intense that I don't think anybody could have survived it had they actually experienced it, and yet it didn't hurt me. It was not painful in the conventional sense of the word. Excuse me. And then it started slowly, methodically, at a very even pace, moving up my body, up my legs to my torso. And as that heat and that pressure was spreading and spreading, I think I just stopped breathing. I didn't know what to think. I did not